Hello, and welcome to Bob's Garden. I'm Bob. Today we're going to continue our series we call The Taming of the Shrub. I'm going to show you how to prune Perovskia. Perovskia is a perennial shrub, comes back every year, and it has several attributes. One attribute is that it has some very nice purple flowers that are very long, and a second is that it has an aromatic odor to the stems. And you can use it in potpourri, or you can even cut a few of these stems, bring them into the house, and it'll give a pleasant scent to the house. And lastly, is we provide some winter interest with this. We leave it up at the end of the winter, and it turns white, and it gives us a pretty shrub to have in the perennial border. So we're going to show you how to do this. We want to reduce this to a framework practically all the way down to the ground. If we don't do that, the framework from last year continues to grow and grow, and it'll get very woody, and the stems get very, very long, and after a while it doesn't produce any flowers. So we need to bring this down practically down to the ground every season, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So here's one we've done already. You see, we're going to get this all the way back to the ground, and this is the framework for which we will get the current season's growth. When we get flowers on current season growth, we call that flowering on new wood. That means you can cut it all the way down. The growth that's going to come up for that season will flower. So we're only leaving some buds, a few buds down here at the base on each of these stems. Now, this stays pretty much the same from year to year, but as time goes on, you will get some of these really long woody stems, which we'll cut out here. We'll bring this right down to the ground. And let's take a look at this. You see that there are no buds below this area. They're all up in here. After a while, we'll lose the buds here, and it will continue to grow and grow, and we will not have any flowers. We want to also take out anything about this thickness here. We don't want anything about pencil thickness, a little bit less than pencil thickness. That's what we're going to leave. So I'm going to work on this next one, and you'll see how that's done. And it looks like I'm going to be working quickly, but I've already decided what I'm going to do beforehand by studying the plant. So I'm going to sit down for this. This is the kind of pruning that I like to do. And because there's so much here, and we're going to have to get it down to where we want, I'm going to indiscriminately cut, and then I'll go back to fix it. So we're just going to bring this down to about 6 inches. And I say, I already know what I'm going to be doing because I looked this over. Remember to have your thoughts on your pruning. And sometimes I have difficulty speaking when I'm doing this. No monkey chatter in your brain. Concentrate on what you're doing. I'm getting a nice aromatic smell when I'm doing this. My wife always knows when I've been working with Perovskia. I can walk in the door and she'll say, "Oh, you've been pruning Perovskia." So it doesn't matter where I'm cutting. Here, we'll fix it. I'll just do this main plant. We'll leave that one alone here. It does spread a little bit. Here's some of that twiggy growth I was telling you about. Okay, so we're down to a level where we can start working on bringing this framework down. And let's take a look in here. You'll see that there's buds that are opposite on either end. And I'm going to show you, even though this is too tall, I want to show you up here that we're going to be cutting it down to about 1/4 of an inch. We don't want to cut through these buds, but we'll cut right about there, and that is going to be perfect, right like that. But that's too tall. So we want to get back to this stem here. This is too thin, so we'll take these out. And we'll continue along like this, bringing it down to within 1 or 2 buds of the last year's trunk. So we've taken care of the rest of this, so you wouldn't have to watch me the pruning the whole time. And you can see we've got everything cut back to this framework within a few buds of the framework. If we look at this one here, we'll see this is a younger plant, and there's not much trunks in here at all. So this will go for several seasons before we need to take out any of the oldest wood. If we look here, back at this one, you can see that it's taller before the buds start to come out. So this is kind of like, we'll probably be having to take this out in a couple seasons. So this is the perfect one, and this one is getting a little longer, and here it's way too long. So we're going to take out some of this oldest wood in here, and you might need some loppers for this because it is kind of hard, but you can see that this is cracked anyway. So let's take a look at this, and you'll see it's just very, very woody all the way up to the top before we get any buds. If you leave this in there, it goes up to the next level, and then it won't have any buds until this point. And then from there, it gets worse. So all this oldest wood will be coming out. Here's one that's okay. This one is a little bit too tall, so we got to get that out of there. As I say, sometimes you'll need loppers, and then we'll get that further down. We try to take it down to the ground as much as possible, but the wood is kind of hard. And sometimes if you have a lot of it that needs to be rejuvenated, you can cut these completely down to the ground. So here we have a good trunk, right height, and we're just gonna get this down to within a few buds of the ground. Take out the ones that are very, very skinny like this, and we can go here and we can go there, and we're all set. And you can bring some of these inside the house and it'll smell up your whole house. So thank you for watching. You've been watching Bob's Garden, the taming of the shrub, and we'll see you next time. Be sure to share my videos, and we welcome your comments. And remember, be curious, not judgmental.